It's the Ownbey 15-minute news hour. It's the Ownbey 15-minute news hour. It's the Ownbey 15-minute news hour. Here's our sign. Here's our sign. Me mush 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 turalai. Me mush 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 turalai. I lathered him with me shillelagh, for he trod on the tail of me mush 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 turalai. And just like a dingo for gold, I lathered him with me shillelagh, for he trod on the tail of me cold. Welcome to this special edition of the Ownbey 15-minute news hour. It is St. Patrick's Day. I'm your host, James Ownbey.
And I'm Clay Ownbey, and this special edition of the Ownbey 15-minute news hour is brought to you tonight by Lucky Charms. They're magically delicious. Are they, James?
They are delicious.
Are they?
And so is Guinness Extra Stout. It is also magically delicious.
And if your kid pipes off at the mouth, Irish Spring to them will be magically delicious. So Guinness, Irish Spring, and what do we got? Lucky Charms.
The Irish Spring does make my armpit smell magically delicious.
It does. What's the
That's Old Spice.
what's the worst for shit? Oh, that's Ancient Spice. All right. Well, never mind.
We're going to jump right into the news.
Let's do it.
Our first story comes from Tooele, Utah. Police in Utah have arrested a husband and wife bank robbery team that took their children along for the illegal excursion. Yeah, Parent of the Year award right
I love that.
A arrest report from Tooele police says that a man and woman, both 27, were caught Monday soon after a Wells Fargo branch was robbed. A 5-year-old and 2-year-old were found in the back seat of the getaway car.
You know what? You ever seen that movie Raising Arizona?
I have.
Sounds a lot like that to me.
Where's
Junior?
Yeah, we're going to get your daddy.
Give me that baby.
Hi, I want that baby.
Hi, I want that baby. Go up there and you give me that baby.
Parent of the Year award. I mean, isn't that great?
I love it.
Hey, let's try to get the 2-year-old to sleep. Let's put him in the car, drive him around a little bit. I know, and let's rob a bank while we're out and about.
Well, what it didn't say is before that they went and bought some meth and went to Pizza Hut. So, I mean, what else do you do? Hey, in New York City inspectors busted more than 24 people allegedly keeping, selling, or displaying illegal exotic animals. Records show that 24 people have been caught in New York City with animals including stingrays, scorpions, snakes, and a sloth.
Baby Ruth! Hey, you guys!
A Long Island man was found with the most impressive collection, including a king snake, a lemur, a hedgehog, a marmoset, a sloth,
Baby Ruth!
and a coati, which is apparently a raccoon-type animal, all which he brought to a child's birthday party.
Was the drunk clown not available to show up that day?
Apparently Bozo didn't show up, so he had to bring a lemur and a
cowboy who was rented out for
and a
them
hedgehog.
again?
Correct.
Well, I know that Richard Gere brought a gerbil to a party once, but I don't think it was a kid's birthday party.
I've heard of people tying balloons into animals, but actually bringing the animals.
Yeah, and a sloth? I mean, who just happens to have one of those?
Here's what I want to see. A guy take a marmoset and tie that into a balloon. Now, that would be cool.
That would be very
Imagine there's a bunch of 8-year-olds freaked out going, oh my god, it's a king snake. Hey kids, look, it's a king snake. A lemur.
Jake the Snake Roberts hosts the birthday party? So, this next story kills me. So, a terrorist, Abu Hamza al-Masri, or something like that, I don't know.
Bob Smith.
Bunch of A's, bunch of M's, bunch of Z's.
And a dash or two.
So, this guy is a suicide bomber. Apparently not a very good one. A huge fail. He blew his hand off in a failed attempt at a suicide bomb.
That's what we need.
They replaced his hand with a hook. Captain Hook. So he had a hook. Well, he was arrested, obviously, and put in jail. Well, a hook is a weapon in jail. You can't have a shank or a hook or nothing like that. Inmates and prison guards, a little bit worried. So now they want to replace his hook with a spork. That's right, a spork, a multi-tool.
You mean
part
one of those
spoon, part fork?
Right. Okay.
You
can get at Super One or wherever they get the plastic.
You go to Taco Bell and you get the Gordita Crunch bowl thing, and you don't want to give you an actual fork and a spoon because they're too cheap. Right. So you get a spork.
Okay.
Which brings us to today's 10-second rule.
Today's 10-second rule brought to you by the people that bring you 10-second rule and Flavor Flav for hooking us up with this awesome clock that now has batteries because it didn't last week. Today's 10-second rule is things you do not want put on your stubby appendage in prison.
That's right. These are things you do not want to have attached to your hand while you are in prison.
So James, you have 10 seconds to come up with as many things that you do not want attached to your stubby hand in prison. Ready?
Yes. Go! Spork, a dildo, toilet paper roll dispenser, a can of shaving cream, razor blades, a sock, a wig, Punky Brewster, hot air balloons, a sloth.
And time! Oh. Hey, good job, James. You got 7 today.
Nice, nice.
A razor blade?
Yep.
Toilet paper dispenser.
Yep.
A dildo. A Punky Brewster. And Hillbilly Jim.
Nice.
So good job, James.
Nice. Thank you very much. Thank you.
7 on tonight's 10-second clock. Once again, brought to you by Flavor Flav.
And Guinness.
Yeah, boy! Gold teeth and all. Hey, check this story out. This one's awesome. A fundamentalist Russian Orthodox group. Now say that 3 times fast. A fundamentalist Russian Orthodox group. A fundamentalist... Okay, I'm not going to do it. Has filed a lawsuit claiming that President Obama's support of gay marriage invalidates the 1867 sale of Alaska. I am not shitting you. This group called the who cares? It's a group that's most known for encouraging their members to use violence against blasphemers. Filed suit in January. We're just now learning about this because apparently the group screwed up some of their paperwork and they missed the deadline for filing the corrections for their botched paperwork. But according to the Spokolis, Obama's turnabout on same-sex marriage violates the freedom of religion of Orthodox Christians in Alaska. And by this, they feel that Alaska should be returned to Mother Russia at once. Now tell me that Sarah Palin doesn't in some way fit into this. After all, she can see Russia from her front porch.
Well, and if we give Alaska back to Russia, she'll be able to see Canada from her back porch, Russia from her front porch, and her side yard, everything else.
You know what? For a long time, I thought she could see John McClane in her back porch.
What she couldn't see was a presidential nomination, apparently, because that was not there.
What else do we have in the news, Mr. James?
I love these stories. A California mortuary buries the wrong woman. I mean, that right there is just screaming good here. In Inglewood, California, Evan Davidson lived with his wife for 51 years.
It's a long time.
But when he told the morticians that the woman in the open casket wasn't Darlene Davidson, they told him he was wrong.
51 years, right?
51 years they've been together. Okay. And he's in the wrong.
Yeah.
I looked at her and said, well, this doesn't look at all like my wife, said Davidson. They kept telling me it was, but she just looked different because she'd been embalmed and she was sick. Well, first of all, she's not sick anymore. She's dead.
Yeah, there's a difference between sick and being dead.
Yeah, and what kind of embalming fluid do you have to use to change a person's looks on the outside? Anyway, so 3 days after the funeral, an employee called and asked Mr. Davidson to come and identify a body. The worker said a woman was, quote, jumping up and down and claiming that the body she was viewing was not her departed mother. I saw my wife and the shock just knocked me down, Davidson said. Luckily, the mortuary has offered to exhume the body and pay for the reburial of the body, which is scheduled for next Wednesday. Dude, okay, if you're married to someone for 51 years and they die and you're in an open casket, I don't care how sick they were, I'm pretty sure you can identify the body.
I would like to see the guy that goes and they open up the casket to it or pull the thing back to identify the body. And it's Nipsey Russell laying there.
It could be Nipsey Russell. And what if, like, the lady that they buried was like a WNBA star, and she was like 6'7", and your wife was like a little petite, like 5'2"?
German woman?
Yeah. So they embalmed her, and it stretched her out like a foot in the casket. I mean, come on.
What if the guy? What if the woman that they buried was actually like a supermodel? And the guy was like, "Oh yeah, dude, that's totally my wife.
That's my
absolutely."
wife.
And let's get some pictures. Get some pictures. Hey, come here.
Look who I was married to.
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, right. 51 years with this. She's only 39 years old. They've been married for 51.
That's right.
Well, she looks pretty damn good for that.
She does look
age,
great, dude. For being married 12 years before she was born. Hey, check this story out. This was badass. This comes from Lincoln, Florida. Authorities say that they discovered a budding marijuana growing operation after residents of a Lincoln, Florida house called the police to report the theft of several pipes. Daniel, get this. Bear with us. The men that called claimed that 2 men entered a house. One was armed with a gun, and they stole 2 hookah pipes. When the officers showed up on the scene, questioning the residents, they noticed marijuana and paraphernalia and several bottles of fertilizer. Then they noticed a light shining from underneath the door in the hallway. Upon searching the hallway closet, they found 3 marijuana plants. All 3 men were arrested, 19, 19, and 20 years old. Then the 20-year-old man left in handcuffs crying, saying, "They stole my favorite hookah. This is such a buzzkill."
Yeah.
A note to all of you aspiring marijuana growers, especially now in Washington and in Colorado. If you live in a state where it's illegal, do not bring the cops to your house. It doesn't matter what happens. If someone stole your shit, don't call the cops. And if you do call the cops and the cops show up, hide your shit.
You will be arrested.
You're an idiot.
You are a moron.
Dumbass.
What were their ages? Dumb, dumb, and dumber?
Yeah, dumb, dumbest, and dish.
And the best quote, what a buzzkill. Yeah, dude, you're going to jail. That's kind of a buzzkill.
Well,
right
they stole
there.
my favorite
You know what I
hookah.
mean?
You know what? Going back to the 10-second rule, here's one of the things you don't want on your arm. A hookah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
So, anyways, we would be remiss as good Catholic Scottish boys that if we didn't talk about the Pope.
Which is funny because A, we're not Catholic, and B, we're not Scottish.
That's fair.
We are
we're
Christian Irish. But hey, for the sake of this story, we'll go with Catholic and
We're kind of Scottish.
Scottish.
We headbutt people and kick them when they're down.
Feed your lawn. Feed it.
I like that. Scott. Hey, grow some grass over here, mate.
Feed your lawn. Feed it.
Okay, anyways. So this week in the Vatican, white smoke blew out. Unlike James Ownbey's room where white smoke blows out pretty much every night. How many popes you got at your home, buddy?
I don't know, but they haven't stolen my favorite hookah yet.
That's
So.
right. And you know why? Because you're not a dumbass.
No kidding.
Getting back to it, apparently the Catholics elected or nominated or said you drew the short straw to Jorge or George something or other.
Francis.
Pope Francis.
Let's go with Pope Francis.
From South America. He's the first pope in 1,300 years not to be from Europe. That right there tells you something about what the people of the world feel about the Pope. Now, Pope Benedict XVI retired. He called it quits. Said, I'm done. Done doing masses. I'm done weighing in on the world's problems.
Done showing up to kids' birthday parties.
If you're the
bar
Pope,
mitzvahs.
if you,
Bris
like
is, that,
oh no, wait, he's not Jewish. Dude, if the Pope shows up at your bris, you'd kick him out because he's a pervert, like most Catholic priests. Anyways, hey, what? Hello? When the Pope retires, does he get that little car to keep? You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
a little car with a little bubble?
Some guys
He
get a
rides around
watch.
in it.
Some guys get like a fountain pen. He used to keep like the Pope mobile.
Well, look
Wouldn't
at
that be sweet?
American presidents. When they're done, they get a library.
Well, no,
I hear that George Bush's library consists of like finger paintings and stick figures.
a Pope's never retired before, so this is a first.
This is a first.
So does he get some kind of like, a
retirement?
Did they throw a party? Like,
get a
was there
watch?
like cake? Like, hey, happy going away.
Hey,
there, Pope.
you get a big
Hey,
cake.
the Pope.
Hey,
Happy
Pope.
going away.
Hey, B16.
And how do you get elected the Pope? Like, do they have tryouts? Like, do you have to like number 7? You gotta go up there and like shake your little smoky thing.
Do a
and
mass.
Do
No,
your little thing.
they say do a
and-
mass.
Yeah, your fingers weren't in the correct position. Like, how does that work?
I'll tell you one of the ways that I think it works. First of all, it's strength. It's endurance. Like most of the things, reality shows that you see, they always have like people that are fit, unless you watch The Biggest Loser or whatnot. And they're still fit, but they can pass this test. Here's what they do: they line all the popes up and they take that big ass pope hat and sit it on their head. If they fall over, hey, you are not a pope.
Hey,
man.
you are out.
Get out of the pope, man. You're done.
I think they should do a Pope fear factor. Like, all right, Mr. Pope Francis, eat this eyeball here. If you make it, you're in. If not, then you're out.
We're gonna lock you in a room with 10 altar boys. If you can not do anything in 30 seconds, then hey, you might go to the next round.
And that brings us to our impromptu 10-second rule.
Uh-oh.
And this week's impromptu 10-second rule, it comes straight from Flavor Flav's clock. And once again, Guinness.
Irish Spring, Lucky Charms.
All right, Mr. Clay, you have 10 seconds
What's the 10 second
to
rule?
name as many popes as you can. As many popes in 10 seconds. On your mark, set, and giddy up.
Pope John Paul the First, Pope John Paul the Second, John Paul George Ringo, John Paul Runkle, John Paul Jones, Paul Franklin, Paul Reisner, Benedict Arnold, Benedict XVI, ex-Benedict XVI, Pope Francis Ford Coppola, the Ford Edsel, Nipsey Russell. Damn it!
Time. Nicely done.
I tried.
You got 112. You got Pope John Paul, Pope John Paul Runkle, Derek Pope, and Pope Nipsey Russell. Way to go. Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
And
Thank you. 112. That's a new record.
that is in 10 seconds.
I love it.
Amazing.
Wow. Okay. Hey.
The points don't matter, folks.
Yeah. The points, dude. Seriously. They're like a pedophile's pants. They don't really matter.
Speaking of pedophiles' pants,
Yeah.
our next story.
Sorry. I just stepped on an honorary dog.
That's our mascot.
In entertainment news, I know the story as it gets better. The show sucks so far, but you're coming around. I'm starting to like it. Michael Jackson's kids and their grandmother, Katherine Jackson, are suing AEG Entertainment for $40 billion. Yes, that's billion with a B, for hiring Conrad Murray. I am not making this up. No bullshit.
They hired a guy.
AEG is the company that put together Michael Jackson's This Is It tour. Did you guys happen to see that?
No, because that was it.
Apparently it was it. Included in the $40 billion is $10 billion for Michael Jackson's future earnings and $50 million for various other damages. Now, Dad died. What other damages do you need? Dad died. And kids, by the way, this is the same dude that dangled your ass out of a window.
And don't these kids like live at Neverland? I mean, don't you have like Disneyland in your
Well, they get to
house?
ride Macaulay Culkin. The Macaulay Culkin ride. They don't get to ride Macaulay Culkin.
Well, you know, for $50 billion,
Hey, you know what Macaulay Culkin said when Michael Jackson dropped Trow? I know.
I bet for $50 billion you could ride Rihanna.
It's Rihanna. By
who?
the way. Rihanna?
What is?
Rhiannon.
What's her name?
I don't know. Rhiannon?
What?
That
Rihanna?
chick, that Chris Brown's punching bag.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Anyways, in other unrelated entertainment news, rapper Tone Loc collapsed in Des Moines, Iowa this week after finishing a concert on a Des Moines, Iowa bridge.
Interesting place to hold a concert.
Well, you're Tone Loc. After the 47-year-old rapper collapsed, fans were then asked to leave. He had fans?
Well, here's the thing. If Tone Loc does a concert on the bridge, you're hoping the fans jump off the bridge after the end of the concert.
I think that was the whole damn
seriously?
idea. Police Sergeant Steve Woody said to a newspaper that the paramedic...
What do you got, Captain Woody?
Hey,
Captain Woody.
He's strong in his job. Very hard-headed. Police Sergeant Steve Woody said to a newspaper that the paramedics responded, but that Tone Loc refused to go to the hospital. Apparently, he collapsed when his dog did the wild thing on his leg.
Too much funky Cole Medina.
Apparently, hey.
And we'd like to make a bunch more Tone Loc song references, but we don't know anymore. Do you know any other?
No, I do know Tone Loc Ace Ventura reference.
Wasn't he?
May I ask you a question?
Wasn't he one of the Tonys in that group? Tony.
Tony, it was Tony.
Tony, Tone, and Tony.
I like that, dude. It feels good. Yeah, wild thing. He said a Spanish phrase in like every single song. Hasta la vista, baby. Hasta la malega. Austin Lee rules.
Tacos.
Hey, speaking of tacos, Doritos has teamed up with Taco Bell once again to put out the Cool Ranch Doritos local tacos.
Yeah, are those any good?
I
have no idea either.
Okay. Figured we'd just throw that
And
out.
we call those three guys that had the hookah bong. I bet they've had those Dorito Nacho Cool Ranch.
Yeah, they were
things.
probably taped all over their face. Well, not taped, but the Cool Ranch stuff all over
It
their
was
face.
taped to their face.
So it was kind of taped to their face. Hey, sports news. James, you know what today was?
Yes, it was. It was Sunday.
Damn, he always gets them right. Enough drinking during pre-production.
St. Patrick's Day is what today was.
The NCAA released
Still is.
their 60th 58 teams in the tournament bracket.
Okay.
4 number 1 seeds, and guess who got a number 1 seed?
Gonzaga Bulldogs.
Excellent. The Gonzaga Bulldogs will face Southern University Thursday in Salt Lake City, Utah. Finally, justice has been served. The little guy gets the number 1 seed, and they totally deserved it. Although they were the 4th number 1 seed, which I call bullshit on.
Yeah, because they're ranked number 1 in the nation. That is so stupid. How does Louisville come from out of nowhere to take the number 1 overall seed? I mean, I know Patino's got a good little team there, but I mean, come on.
Yeah, well,
but they did get a good draw. Gonzaga got a good draw. They're in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yep, close to home.
So close to home. A lot of pin-up virgin aggression in that building. So
man, I'll tell you what. All those BYU fans are going to come out and see Kerry Olynyk and just want to screw his ass.
Probably.
Well, hopefully
well,
not.
The long hair, you know. I mean, he is.
He's a good-looking Canadian dude, you know. Anyways, which brings us to sports. Other sports
you know who else is a good-looking Canadian dude?
George St. Pierre,
Celine Dion,
Brian Adams.
No, actually, George St. Pierre fought in the UFC pay-per-view against Nick Diaz. And whoop his punk ass, which is good.
Yep. George St. Pierre came out last night in Montreal and totally dominated Nick Diaz for 5 rounds. Unlike Celine Dion has been dominated for 5 rounds.
That's not the first time she's been in the cage, I bet.
You ain't lying. Not the first time she's been dominated. After the fight, Nick Diaz retired, then unretired, saying that he wanted a rematch against George St. Pierre or Carlos Condit. Said he was probably a better matchup for Carlos Condit. He also went on to say that he's probably going to be in jail because he's never paid taxes. Quote, "When you get a guy like me who's never graduated from high school, then you make a lot of money and more money, well, then you know. That's what happens. I don't really know what's going on. Someone hit me in the face 100 times. I think it was Canadian." End quote.
Here's the thing. The first line, "I never graduated high school," tells you right there what kind of character we're dealing with.
Yeah.
You know? And here's the bad part is, and I never want to talk shit about UFC fighters because, you know, we do a lot of these stories. You're like, you know, I could probably kick that guy's ass. You know what I mean? Like those 3 idiots that called the police about getting their bong stolen. You know what? I could probably
stole my hookah!
I could probably whip those 3 guys' ass. Nick Diaz, I'm like, nah, I'm glad George St. Pierre did the job for me, so I don't have to worry about that.
Here's the thing that I love, and I've always loved this about boxing, and this is going to hold true except for one guy in history. I love it when guys who talk shit, who run their mouth all the time, get their ass kicked. Now, the one guy that doesn't apply to is the great one, Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali could talk shit to anybody, and you just had to be like, "Yeah, I know, dude, I suck. You're the best, and I'm terrible."
Yeah, but he floated like a butterfly. He stung like a bee. He soared like an eagle.
He shakes like Michael J. Fox.
He hung like an elephant. He screwed like a tiger. He ate Cheerios like a hungry man. You know, I mean, the guy was just amazing. He could do it all.
Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, he could paint a house faster than anybody else. You know,
He whooped George Foreman's ass before the George Foreman grill whooped George Foreman's ass.
Well, that's the reason why George Foreman had to start selling grills.
Yeah, because he got his ass whooped.
Because he got his ass whooped, he couldn't box no more.
Yeah. So, going back to the NCAA tournament now. But that was redundant. That's like NC and 7As. The NCAA tournament.
It's like Raul Labanya's
Wow. Scene. The brackets don't come out until tomorrow.
Yep.
As far as, well, they actually came out today, but they won't be printed on our computer until tomorrow, so we'll have one. But, just going on a whim, give me your top 8. Give me your elite 8.
Gonzaga.
Uh-huh.
I want to say I don't want to say, but Duke will probably be in there. I think Georgetown actually has got a good chance of going.
Georgetown looks good.
You know, Louisville's the number 1 overall seed, so you know they got a tough shot of being in there.
What about DeVry? DeVry?
You know, here's the thing: is if Lehigh was in the tournament and they got to play Duke, I know that Lehigh would be in the Elite 8 because I mean Duke cannot beat Lehigh. Correct. I mean 1-0. That's all I gotta say. Dude, well, Lehigh is undefeated against it. The only team ever to be undefeated against Duke, Lehigh. Lehigh.
I like Lehigh.
Write it down.
Yeah, mark it down, championship.
Mark it down.
I think that the ITT Tech versus NIC is going to be a pretty good matchup.
Yeah, that would be good. Spokane Community College and NIC women's crew team. That's going to be a great matchup.
What's the matter, you? versus the Arts Institute would be a pretty
I think Itchy and Scratchy against Haka Loogie would be a great matchup.
I heard that is going to be coached by the Invisible Man. He's going to take his donk and wrap it around. Anyways.
Which brings me to our first round of rants, which is the NCAA tournament.
Okay.
All right? It's the tournament of 64.
It is.
The first round, the playing games, come on, dude. 68? No, you're not. Dude, playing games... Dude, if it's a serious, like, a playing game, then why don't they take, like, a Miami and let Florida play in the playing game?
Dude, I think...
Not George Mason against Bill and Mary.
No.
Not, you know.
Here's what they should do, okay? Check this out, right? Take the University of Phoenix and the University of New Hampshire and take everybody that's online for both schools and have them play in one massive 1 million versus 1 million match.
I think a one-on-one. Like a one-on-one, 1 million man, one-on-one.
Or like a game of horse with 2 million people.
No, I think a 2 million man game of horse would be something extraordinary.
Hey James, we got time for just one rant. What do you got? You want to rant about something tonight?
I want to rant about dudes that wear their beanies year-round. Dude, it's August. It's 100 freaking degrees, and you're wearing a beanie? Come on, dude. Take the hat off. I'm wearing a European slingshot. I look like freaking Borat. Dude, I am so hot. I'm sweating muffins out of my armpits. I smell like gravy, and you're wearing a freaking beanie. Dude, your head has got to be hot. I don't care how cool you think you look. You're a moron. Dude, at some point, the scalding head has got to give up for frickin' looking cool.
Waldo wore a beanie. Mushmouth wore a beanie. Enough said. Don't look like a dick.
Dude, Mushmouth would kick Waldo's ass in a fist fight 10 times out of 10.
Oh, he'd straight up, he'd be like, baby, fucking you, knock your fucking face, get it.
And if not, you know who he has in his corner? Hey. So that brings us...
Let's do it.
That brings us to the end of the St. Patty's Day version of the Ownbey 15-minute news hour.
Thanks to Irish Spring.
Thanks to
Lucky Charms.
Thanks to Guinness Beer.
Thanks to you guys. If you guys like what you see, go to the Dungus Facebook page. Like us. The Ownbey 15-minute news hour Facebook page is going to be starting up soon, and a very special birthday celebration. My man, Warden S. Christ, Dennis Ward, I love you, Gooch. Happy birthday, brother.
And Kelly Moore. And keep on drumming, baby. We love you, Kelly.
That was the Ownbey 15-minute news hour. That was the Ownbey 15-minute news hour. That was the Ownbey 15-minute news hour.